Phillip.
Hi everyone, morning. So I will share something that came to me yesterday night. So yesterday night after packing, I was thinking of what to share today. Then while I was thinking, I thought this is really planned by God for my trip. Because previously, we always wanted to come to Israel. And in our previous church, actually people asked us if we want to go as well. Even my father asked. But somehow we did not go. Maybe it was timing or maybe it was scheduling. And only after we received the gospel of grace, then we came. And because we have the gospel of grace, everywhere we go, it's like a new revelation. Very different from what we hear last time. From the beginning, St. Peter's, like little images like Jesus at the shore, waiting, or feeding the multitude. Everything was like it touched me, little by little. And it was until yesterday at the garden tomb that I must say I never felt so loved before, right after communion. And I believe this was really all God's plan. Very touching to me. I must say this is the first time I have been on a fellowship with so many people on a trip. Never in my 10 plus years as a Christian. And I feel very blessed. And that's what I want to share.
Discovery, no question, in the last 100 years, I would say the discovery, because it's authentic the Bible. It is something as when you're reading, but then you find something that dates back 2,000 years ago, and it's almost identical text. Because in the book of Psalm, right, in the book of Psalm, that we all know that we have 150 Psalms, correct? Yes. They were adding I mean the people who wrote it, the Essenes, remember them? The group that lived in Qumran, they were adding one more Psalm. So in their book of Psalm, there is 151 Psalm. They added one as they did when they wrote the name God. You know, we have the Hebrew of today that is actually dating back also to the time of Jesus. The same Hebrew that I read today, and my grandchildren, okay, the same Hebrew, what we call square Hebrew. But there was also the ancient Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew. So this group of people decided, 1 second, I have to show you something. Mesopotamian people, Iraq, roughly Iraq, okay? So that's what you're about to see. I'm going to give a short talk, of course, about the model of the city. I hope it will have a beautiful gift shop. I hope the gift shop, I'll tell you why. Because there are some beautiful postcards that you can't really find anywhere else.
No. It's a start. Some people never experience it.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh. Wow.
Good morning, NCC.
Good morning.
Good morning, people.
Morning.
What a day. Come. So much that a Jewish husband has to do. Your wife greet you when you come home in Singapore. I want to know the Chinese culture. Seriously.
Huh?
Nothing?
Husband come home.
That's it?
We are home? So
Let me tell
early?
you briefly. No, nothing to do with the subject. How Jewish women are greeting the husband when they come. You should know, man. Listen carefully. And any plumber in my home. Okay, so I come home. I called my wife already here. My car in the driveway. She prepared a pile of water.
Of water.
Nice, you know. Put rose leaf in the water. Rose leaf. Take my shoes off. Gently wash my feet. And dump it on my head. Now I got your attention.
Stop the recording.
You know, a man need to have a dream. We like to dream. Come to the front, please. The outer perimeter is something we can't see. Look at the outer perimeter. You see the outer perimeter? Yes. Inner perimeter is what we see today, roughly. Meaning, what can we conclude immediately? That 2,000 years ago, 2,000, actually a bit later, let's say Jesus' time, even though it's a bit incorrect, it's more Agrippa, the city of Jerusalem, the old city, was much bigger than what we see today. It was like 40% bigger. And the city population was about 65,000 to 70,000, when today the old city is 40,000. Meaning not only it was bigger population, also more. Okay, who did this project? The man that you see there in the picture. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough. Professor Michael Aviona. So his wife actually carried on with this huge project that you see behind you. An accurate, I would say accurate, like let's say accurate. It was there to start with. There was a hotel there. Was, remember the word was. Somebody changed the zoning when they rebuilt, instead of hotel residential. You understand the difference in the amounts of money? Somebody made money, a lot of money. And the mayor of Jerusalem at the time did not feel, he was asleep, when an envelope from pocket 1 went to pocket 2. He didn't feel. Somebody put money in my pocket. I don't feel. You understand I'm being cynical, right? And because of that, he was in prison. Because the law really should be above all. So it was there. If you came here many years ago, it was there. 10 years ago about, we moved it here. So it's now part of the museum. It's quite an accurate model. And we will go around the model and I'll talk. And can you see the gate right there? Okay. You're standing, remember the Mount of Olives? Meaning the best picture is going to be from? Absolutely. But we, again, feel free to take pictures all over the place. Yes. That's supposed to be Damascus Gate. Remember, we know Damascus Gate? Yes, the gate there, Damascus Gate. What does it mean, Damascus Gate? We know who walked out of the Damascus Gate to the place of crucifixion.
Jesus.
Yesterday you saw the place. Look at this pile of stones. The piling of stone right there, can you see?
Yes.
Pile of stone right there. That's supposed to tell you the message of the garden tomb. This wall did not exist in the time of Jesus. This wall was built, remember who? Agrippa II, the grandson of Herod, and I even talked about the time. The year 41, remember? 41 AD. You see there is a fortress there? Remember we have been there?
Yes.
Remember we saw the Roman game, remember that? Look at this fortress. The fortress had stairs down. Can you see the stairs right there?
Yep.
So the question is, where did Jesus walk? Did he walk here to the place of the garden tomb, remember? Exiting through this gate? Or did he went through another gate, which you can't see really on the model, and crucified where? Holy Sepulchre. Where's the Holy Sepulchre? I'll show it you from another angle, but there is an only rock right there, one rock, and that is today the site of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. You won't see the church on the model, but I'll show you a rock. You understand? The start may be the same start. The end is two different locations. One you have seen, and one we also went to see, remember, on a Monday. Yeah. Remember I took you to see the Church of Holy Sepulchre. Remember that wall? You can't see. We call it the third wall. You can't see. Cannot. Can you see the gate right there?
Yes.
The gate. King Herod had a plan. What was his plan? He was kind of a megalomaniac in a way, in many ways. And he wanted to build the tower that from the top of the tower you can see the Mediterranean. Mediterranean, that's it. No good. Can't. There is only one place in Jerusalem you can see the Dead Sea, but you can't see the Med. You cannot because our mountains were hiding. The Dead Sea absolutely can see. From Mount Olives there is a certain area which you can see the Dead Sea, but not from here. Okay? Remember Ben Yehuda? Yes. Remember we walked out of the museum, Friends of Zion? Yep. And we got to a junction, remember? And I told you up the road. So before we went out at the junction where I was standing and directing you, roughly the location of this, of the tower. That single rock there is supposed to tell you the location of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. You see a rock? Are you with me? Now you see the rock. In other words, the gate, this gate will be what gate? Today, what gate? Facing west, facing the port of Jaffa. Absolutely, that's the Jaffa gate. Next to it is a citadel that we saw. I showed you that citadel, remember? We talked about Herod building a citadel to protect his palace. Remember the police station? That's the palace of King Herod, meaning where we had lunch at this Armenian restaurant, Bulgurji, somewhere here. Remember the restaurant, the Armenian restaurant? Remember?
Yes.
Somewhere in this area. Meaning this is already Mount Zion. Mount Zion. Again, look at the fortress. Remember the fortress? Overlooking the temple. Now the question is, why Herod want a fortress next to the temple? What's the purpose? Is that to really protect the city? No. Protect the city, you do it at the exit. I mean at the wall. He thought about a revolution. He said the Jews don't really like him, which they really didn't like him. If there is going to be a revolution, where will they start it? In the place where they're under the influence of the spiritual authority, meaning the high priest. So I'm ready, meaning I'm ready. They start something, I can interfere immediately. And that is the reason why he built that fortress, the Antonia, named it after his friend Marcus Antonius, Mark Antony, to make sure that he knows what's going inside there. People, what Herod knew and understood, he was a very smart politician. The Shah of Iran could not understand. Listen to what I said, the Shah of Iran.
There's a gate here, or what is that?
Which one? There is somewhere here is the new gate. But here's the thing. This wall, you can't see today, and that wall you don't see. The wall is actually in the middle somewhere. The wall of today. So therefore I said it's almost accurate like today. It's not really accurate. But he tried to give you an idea. Okay? Mount Zion. Don't forget, Mount Zion. We have been something here is wrong. Why? Again, because today, look at me. There is a wall cutting the mountain into half. Remember the wall? Zion Gate. You don't see Zion Gate here. Because there is a wall, right? And the wall goes straight down. Meaning the tomb of David in the walls of today. In today's wall, meaning it's the Ottoman wall, is leaving the tomb of David outside the city wall. Outside the city wall. So where is the wall today? Imagine somewhere here. The aristocracy of Jerusalem lived here. The aristocracy, the people who had money, including the high priest and the people around him, they lived here. Meaning somewhere here.
Also the upper room.
The upper room. Remember upper room?
Yep.
Remember?
Yep.
The room of the last supper? Look at the home with the red roof, which look big and very nice. And look at the other. The other home don't look nice, correct?
Yep.
Absolutely. The lower class, or the middle lower class, had lived on the slope close to a valley, which was called the Valley of the Cheesemakers. Who wants to live close to cheese making? Only those who have no choice. Do we see a gate?
Yes.
This gate I talked about. We found it. That is the gate of the Essenes, the people who lived in Qumran. That is their way to go to the Judean wilderness. Remember? They had a very special entry. And therefore Josephus is writing to us, remember that I mention his name all the time, that the Essenes headquarters were on Mount Zion. So it makes sense. I'm not saying it does. It's not written in scripture. No, we know it for sure, but it makes sense that, in my opinion, Jesus knew of them, no doubt, no question. Okay? It makes sense that Jesus will use the service, or he will approach one of them, because he need to rent the room to celebrate Passover. He had to approach somebody which he trusts, and absolutely he would trust them. Okay, why? Remember we talked? The two group of people had a common enemy. Who was the common enemy? The high priest. So we found that gate, people. This gate was found. We found the gate, and don't forget, it leads to the Judean wilderness. Are you with me? Everybody with me? Question? People don't hesitate.
The orientation is the real orientation.
Real. Orientation correct. Now what is not correct? The theater. This theater, we found it, it was not there. It was much closer to where we prayed at the Western Wall. Remember you prayed at the Western Wall? Much closer than the model show you. But it doesn't really matter. We found a theater, Roman. Roman, of course, there's a theater like in Caesarea. They had in Jerusalem, they had in other places. Smaller, not the same size as Caesarea, but we found remains of a theater in a recent excavation, not in that location. So why did they put it there? Because Josephus mentioned theater. So they said we put a theater. But the theater was much closer to where we pray. All good, all good. People.
Is that the
tomb of David?
Yes, yes.
Did
yes.
it look like that back in those days?
We don't
Hypothetical?
really know. I mean, how? I don't think so. I don't think because that style of building came later. In David times, think about 1000 BC.
Yep.
I don't think so. But of course, we would like to say it was like a mausoleum.
Okay.
Meaning it was something, not the average tomb. After all, he's a king. Has to be different.
Yep.
Okay.
Judah hung himself, remember that? Yeah. We looked at that valley, remember? From the Peter Galicanti place, we looked at the valley. We also saw the Kidron, and we saw a piece of this. We really did not see a valley. But I told you what Herod did. He paved the valley. Remember, he paved. So we saw actually the pavement, but not the valley. This is the valley of the cheesemakers, the Teropeon. All of them making that letter. Remember the letter Shin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shin, 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 Shin.
Yeah.
The letter that is on the mezuzah. Remember the mezuzah? At your hotel, when you entered, what did you see? Mezuzah. What letter on the mezuzah? Shin. The letter that represents God. In fact, sometimes on the mezuzah, 3 letters. Shin, Dalet, Yud. Shin, Dalet, Yud, Shaddai. Now, what does it mean, Shaddai? It's acronym. God is guarding the doors of Israel. In Hebrew, Shomer Dlatot Israel. God is guarding the doors of Israel.